return to the surface of the moon first, as previously planned. But I just have to say, pretty bluntly here, we've been there before.
I want y'all to see this. There are clouds behind the sun and in front of the sun. If the sun was 93 million miles away, as they say it is, this would not be a possibility. But I can't get it any closer. But the sun is creating a glare off the top of the clouds. This too is an impossibility if it's 93 million miles away, because it's reflecting on what's above, thus proving the sun is in fact very close to us. And as it sets, it's actually disappearing behind the horizon. I want y'all to see that. Okay? There are clouds behind the sun and in front of the sun, which proves one thing. The sun is moving across the top of the sky, and the clouds are in fact moving in front of it and as well as behind it. I wish I could give a more detailed image because my eyes can see it. There we go. See the clouds behind the sun? Right at the top of it. This is not possible if in fact the sun was 93 million miles away. So, I digress. And that is why I believe the earth is flat. And I'll leave it at that.
God's invisible qualities can be clearly seen and understood from what He has created. For the heavens proclaim the glory of God, that He is a God of righteousness. Scripture advises us to open our eyes and be amazed. But astronomy has convinced the world that what we see must not be believed, because our eyes is as unreliable as ancient scripture. The new scientific method is simple. Whatever appears to be is wrong. Obviously. It stands to reason that creation requires a creator, but science teaches us that there was only a Big Bang. It is obvious that there was a worldwide flood. The Bible teaches it was a big flood over a short period. Science teaches it was a small flood over a long period. It is obvious the earth is flat, but science teaches us we live on a ball. It is obvious the earth does not move, but science teaches we are spinning around on an axis, around a star and billions of galaxies. It is obvious the sun is the same size as the moon, but science teaches us it is 400 times bigger. It is obvious that the universe is revolving around us, but science say we are revolving around the universe. It is obvious that stars are smaller than the sun, but science say the sun is the smallest of all the stars. It is obvious that up is up and down is down, but we are taught that it is not so. It is obvious that the earth is unique, the only plane where life is supported. Therefore, they claim to have recently discovered a septillion other planets. During my lifetime, science discovered 10 to the power of 24 planets. That is a trillion planets every second for 50 years. And not one was made by God. If every human was a scientist, we would each have had to discover 120 trillion planets every second. Yet scientists did it all alone, while working for the government. If one believes that, he can believe anything. Why is it that scientists can say stuff like that with a straight face, and nobody seems to register the absurdity? Such a system of philosophy, requiring the abandon of common sense and logic in exchange for the views of a PhD, is the worst kind of idolatry. The ancients noticed that the flat earth was ruled by giants and gods and mystic beings based on their own observation and experience. We believe the spinning earth is lost in space based on Einstein's fiction and NASA's fraud. We abandon faith in our own senses in exchange for theories of those who stare into their crystal telescopes. They are the new clergymen, the priests of fiction. They teach a worldview of astronomical absurdity, to take our eyes away from creation and to surrender the evidence of God's design. The scientific naturalism ruling our universities sprouts from a philosophy that is devoid of substance. It borrows from the ancients and turns it upside down to proclaim a new discovery. It lacks creativity. It is the shadow, not the body. It is the film, not the object. Its conclusions are predicated on inverting whatever God has said or can be seen from nature. It is an utterly unoriginal, unproductive squandering of intellect, an aberration of the mind, and truly to be